The cargo bay of the Dawn's Promise smelled like recycled air and machine oil. Tae-sung wiped sweat from his forehead as he secured the last container. Another boring day in deep space, exactly how he liked it. After 5 years in the military, boring was good. Boring meant nobody died. Tae-sung, get to the bridge, now! The captain's voice crackled through his communicator, tense and urgent. He dropped his tools and ran. The bridge crew stood frozen, staring at the main screen. A small pod tumbled through space, trailing debris and leaking atmosphere. Emergency lights blinked weakly along its damaged hull. "It's a Veltheran escape pod," the navigator said quietly. "Royal design. The distress signal is weak, but it's there." The captain rubbed his face. "This is bad. If we ignore it and someone dies, it's an interstellar incident. If we help and something goes wrong, also an incident." Tae-sung stepped closer to the screen. "We have to help. It's the right thing to do." 20 minutes later, they brought the pod into the cargo bay. The metal was scorched black from weapons fire. Tae-sung's hands shook as they opened the hatch. Inside, a young Veltheran woman lay unconscious in a pool of purple blood. Her skin was pale blue, almost white. Royal markings covered her uniform. "That's Princess Hana," the captain whispered. "Stars above, that's the Emperor's daughter." Tae-sung had basic medical training from his military days. He checked her pulse. Weak and irregular. Her breathing came in short gasps. "She's dying. We need to get her to medical now." They carried her carefully to the ship's small medical bay. The computer scanned her body and the diagnosis appeared on screen. Tae-sung's stomach dropped as he read it. Critical blood loss. Organ failure beginning. Her species needed a specific enzyme to survive trauma, something their medical supplies didn't have. "There's nothing we can do," the ship's doctor said, his voice hollow. "We don't have Veltheran medicine. She'll be dead in an hour." Tae-sung stared at the princess. She looked young, maybe his age. Someone's daughter. Someone who probably had dreams and people who loved her. He thought about all the people he couldn't save in the war. All the faces that haunted his dreams. "What about human blood?" he asked suddenly. The doctor looked at him like he was crazy. "Human blood is toxic to Veltherans. It would kill her faster." "But I read something once," Tae-sung insisted. "In small amounts, heavily filtered, human blood can provide the enzyme they need. It's dangerous, but it's a chance." The doctor pulled up files on his computer, scrolling frantically. "You're right. There's one case study. One. It nearly killed both the human and the Veltheran. The human went into shock and almost died. Can we do it?" "Technically, yes. The medical pod can filter and modify the blood in real time. But Tae-sung, you could die. Even if you survive, there could be permanent damage." Tae-sung looked at the princess again. Her breathing was getting weaker. He thought about why he left the military. Too much death. Too many people he couldn't save. Maybe he could save one person today. "Set it up," he said. The captain tried to stop him. "Tae-sung, think about this. You don't owe her anything. I know. But I can't just watch her die when there's a chance." They worked fast. Tae-sung lay on the medical bed next to the princess. The doctor connected tubes between them, running everything through a complex filtration system. "This is going to hurt," the doctor warned. "A lot. Your body will fight the process. Just do it." The machine started. Tae-sung's blood flowed out, got filtered, modified, and flowed into the princess. At first it wasn't bad. Then the pain hit. It felt like fire in his veins. Every cell in his body screamed. He gritted his teeth, refusing to cry out. The doctor monitored both of them. "Her vitals are improving. It's working. But Tae-sung, your blood pressure is dropping fast." "Keep going," Tae-sung gasped. Minutes felt like hours. The princess's color started to improve. Her breathing steadied, but Tae-sung felt weaker with every heartbeat. His vision blurred. The room spun. "Her organs are stabilizing," the doctor said. Just a little more. Tae-sung's hands were numb. He couldn't feel his legs. Black spots danced in his vision. He heard alarms beeping somewhere far away. The doctor was shouting, but the words made no sense. Then something strange happened. For just a moment, Tae-sung felt something that wasn't his own pain. A presence, foreign but not threatening, confusion, gratitude, fear. It wasn't his emotion, but somehow he felt it clearly. "Stop the transfusion," the doctor yelled. "He's crashing." The world went dark. Tae-sung didn't know how much time passed. He woke to the sound of alarms and people shouting. His body felt like lead. Every breath hurt. He forced his eyes open. The medical bay was chaos. Crew members ran everywhere. Through the window he saw massive ships outside, Feltheran warships, their hulls gleaming with advanced armor. At least 20 of them, all pointing weapons at the Dawn's promise. "We're surrounded," someone shouted. "They're demanding we surrender the princess." The captain's voice came over the speakers, calm despite everything. "Tell them she's alive. Tell them a crew member saved her life." Tae-sung tried to sit up but couldn't move. The doctor pushed him back down. "Stay still. You lost almost half your blood. You're lucky to be alive. The princess," Tae-sung whispered. "Alive. Stable. You saved her." Relief washed over him. Worth it. Whatever happened next, it was worth it. The door to medical bay slid open. Feltheran soldiers in powered armor stormed in, weapons ready. They surrounded the princess's bed, checking her vitals. One of them, an officer with cold eyes, turned to look at Tae-sung. "Is this the human?" she asked. The doctor nodded. "He gave his blood to save her. He almost died doing it." The officer studied Tae-sung for a long moment. "The princess lives because of him?" "Yes," she touched her communicator. "Command, the princess is stable. Prepare medical transport." She looked at Tae-sung again. "You're coming with us, human. The queen will want to see the one who saved her daughter." Before Tae-sung could respond, everything went black again. His last thought was that he hoped he'd wake up next time. He had a feeling his simple, boring life was over. The rescue ships took both of them. The Dawn's promise was released with thanks and compensation. As Tae-sung lay unconscious in a Veltharan medical pod, the princess in the pod next to him opened her eyes for the first time. She turned her head, looking at the human who saved her. Something had changed. She could feel it. A connection she didn't understand. A bond that shouldn't exist. When she reached out with her mind, she felt his presence, faint but there. The doctors noticed it too. The readings were impossible. A soul tether, ancient, sacred, forbidden between species. Princess Hana closed her eyes. Everything had changed. For both of them. Tae-sung woke to soft blue light and the hum of advanced machinery. His head felt clear, but his body was weak. The medical bay around him was nothing like the cramped space on the Dawn's promise. Everything gleamed with technology he'd never seen before. "You're awake." "Good." A woman's voice spoke in perfect human language. "Don't try to move yet. Your body is still recovering." He turned his head slowly. A Veltharan woman in a white medical uniform stood beside his bed, checking displays he couldn't read. Through the transparent wall, he saw other Veltharans moving with purpose. This wasn't his ship. This was a Veltharan vessel. "Where am I?" His voice came out rough. "The flagship, Eternal Dawn. You've been unconscious for 3 days." The doctor smiled slightly. "You're very lucky to be alive. The blood exchange should have killed you." 3 days. Tae-sung tried to process that. "The princess?" "Alive and well, thanks to you. She's been asking about you." Before he could respond, the door slid open. Princess Hana entered, followed by a stern-looking Veltharan warrior in black armor. The princess looked completely different from the dying woman in the escape pod. Her skin was a healthy pale blue, her eyes bright and alert. She wore a simple but elegant dress marked with royal symbols. "Leave us," she said to the doctor. The medical staff bowed and left quickly. The warrior stayed. "Your Highness, protocol requires—" "Commander Bora, please wait outside." "I'll be safe." Bora's jaw tightened, but she obeyed, though she positioned herself right outside the door where she could see everything through the transparent wall. Princess Hana approached Tae-sung's bed. Up close, he could see she was young, probably not even 25. She studied him with curious eyes. "You're Tae-sung, the one who saved my life. I just did what anyone would do." "No." Her voice was firm. "Most humans fear my people. Most wouldn't risk their life for a stranger, especially not a Veltharan. But you did. Why?" Tae-sung thought about his answer. "I was a soldier once. I saw too many people die. If I could save one person, I had to try." She was quiet for a moment. Then she did something unexpected. She sat in the chair next to his bed. "I need to tell you something. What you did, it created something we call a soul tether." "A what?" "When you gave your blood to save me, our life forces connected. It's extremely rare. In our history, it's only happened a few dozen times, never between different species." She looked troubled. "Can you feel it? If you focus, can you sense something that isn't yours?" Tae-sung closed his eyes and tried. There at the edge of his awareness, he felt something. A presence. Emotions that weren't his own. Curiosity, worry, gratitude. His eyes snapped open. I feel you, and I feel you. She stood, pacing now. This bond means we're connected. I can sense your emotions, your general location. You can sense mine. In Veltheran culture, a soul tether is sacred. It means two beings share a responsibility for each other's well-being. I don't understand. What does this mean for me? Princess Hana stopped pacing. It means you can't go back to your normal life. The bond is permanent. My mother, Queen Sujin, has demanded you be brought to our homeworld. She'll decide what to do with you. Taesung's stomach dropped. Your mother? The Queen? She's not happy about this. My mother believes humans are dangerous and untrustworthy. A soul tether with a human, especially involving the royal family, is, she searched for the word, complicated. Will she hurt me? I won't let that happen. You saved my life. That means something. But she didn't sound entirely confident. The door opened and Commander Bora stepped in. Your Highness, we have a problem. Long-range sensors detect a fleet approaching. Krell Syndicate. At least 40 ships. Princess Hana's face went pale. The same ones who attacked me before. It appears so. They're on an intercept course. Bora's hand went to her weapon. We need to move you to the secure section now. How long until they reach us? 20 minutes. Everything happened fast after that. Bora and other guards rushed Princess Hana toward the secure area of the ship. Taesung tried to get up, but his legs wouldn't support him. A guard stayed with him, weapon ready. Through the soul tether, Taesung felt Hana's fear growing. It mixed with his own, creating a confusing swirl of emotions. He heard alarms blaring throughout the ship. The sound of crew running to battle stations. Then the ship shook violently. The first weapons hit. Lights flickered. The guard at Taesung's door spoke into his communicator. Medical bay is secure. Patient cannot be moved. Another explosion, closer this time. The lights went out completely. Emergency lighting kicked in, bathing everything in red. Through the soul tether, Taesung felt a spike of terror from Hana. Something was wrong. The guard's communicator crackled. All units, the secure section is breached. Krell boarding parties inside. Princess Hana is pinned down in Corridor 7. Taesung didn't think. He forced himself off the bed, legs shaking. The guard tried to stop him. Sir, you're too weak. Give me a weapon. I can't do that. Another explosion rocked the ship. The guard stumbled. Taesung grabbed the man's sidearm from his holster. Sorry, he muttered, and ran into the corridor. His body screamed in protest. Every step was agony, but through the soul tether, he could feel Hana's direction. He followed that feeling like a compass. Corridor 7 was chaos. Dead Veltheran guards lay everywhere. Krell pirates in heavy armor were advancing on a barricade. Behind it, Taesung saw Bora and 3 guards protecting Princess Hana. They were outnumbered. Taesung's military training took over. He analyzed the situation in seconds. The Krell were focused on the barricade. They hadn't noticed him behind them. He had maybe one chance. He fired. The Veltheran weapon kicked harder than human guns, but his aim was true. The first Krell went down, then the second. The others turned, surprised. Bora used the distraction. She vaulted over the barricade and attacked with brutal efficiency. Taesung kept firing until his weapon was empty. His vision blurred. His legs finally gave out. He collapsed against the wall. When the fighting stopped, Bora stood over the Krell bodies, breathing hard. Princess Hana rushed to Taesung's side. You idiot. You can barely stand. You were in danger, he said simply. I could feel it. She helped him sit up properly. Her hands were gentle despite her angry words. You should have stayed safe. So should you. Bora approached them, her armor scorched. She looked at Taesung with new eyes. You fought well, human. For someone who can barely walk. It almost sounded like respect. More guards arrived to secure the area. The ship was still under attack, but the immediate danger had passed. They carried Taesung back to medical bay while Bora escorted Princess Hana to a new secure location. Later, when the battle was over and the Krell had retreated, Bora visited Taesung. She stood at the foot of his bed, arms crossed. The tactical analysis shows you saved at least 12 lives today, including the princess. The guard whose weapon you stole wants to thank you. I'm sorry about that. Don't be. It was smart, she paused. I misjudged you. I thought all humans were weak and selfish. You proved me wrong. Not all Veltherans are the same either, I'm guessing. No, we're not. She turned to leave, then stopped. The Queen won't care about what you did today. She'll only care that you're bonded to her daughter. Be prepared for that. After she left, Taesung lay back and stared at the ceiling. Through the soul tether, he could feel Hana was safe now, resting. Her emotions had calmed. He wondered what the Queen would be like. He wondered if saving Hana's life twice would matter. The ship continued toward Velthara Prime, toward whatever judgment awaited him. Taesung closed his eyes and tried not to be afraid. But through the bond, he felt Hana's worry for him, and that was somehow worse than his own fear. The Krell attack came without warning. One moment, the flagship was cruising toward Velthara Prime. The next moment, space lit up with weapons fire. Taesung was in medical bay when the alarms screamed to life. All hands to battle stations. Krell Syndicate fleet detected. Multiple vessels incoming. Through the soul tether, Taesung felt Hana's spike of fear. She was somewhere on the command deck. He could sense her location clearly now, like a bright point in his mind. The doctor rushed to secure medical equipment as the ship rocked from impacts. "You need to stay here," the doctor shouted over the alarms. "You're still recovering." But Taesung was already moving. His body was stronger after 3 days of Veltharan medical treatment. Not perfect, but better. He grabbed a medical kit from the wall. If he couldn't fight, maybe he could help the wounded. The corridors were chaos. Crew members ran to their stations. Soldiers in armor sprinted toward defensive positions. Another explosion shook the ship. Lights flickered. Somewhere, something was burning. Taesung followed the soul tether toward Hana. He had to make sure she was safe. The feeling was instinctive, almost overwhelming. He ran faster. He found Bora in a corridor directing soldiers. She saw him and her eyes widened. "What are you doing here?" "Where's the princess?" "Command deck, secure." Another explosion. Bora touched her communicator. "Report!" A voice crackled back. "Hull breach on deck 9. Krell boarding parties. At least 30 of them." "The princess?" Bora demanded. "Command deck is—" "Wait, we're losing them. The Krell are fighting toward command." Bora's face went pale. "They're targeting her again." "Move out!" She looked at Taesung. "You stay here." "No, that's an order." "I'm not your soldier." Taesung met her eyes, and I can feel her fear through the bond. "I'm going." Bora looked like she wanted to argue. Instead, she shoved a weapon into his hands. "Keep up or stay out of the way." They ran. Bora's team moved with practiced efficiency, clearing corners and checking rooms. The sounds of fighting grew louder. Energy weapons screaming. The smell of burned metal and worse things. They reached the command deck corridor. Bodies lay everywhere, both Veltharan and Krell. The main door was sealed but scorched from weapons fire. The Krell were trying to breach it. "Defensive positions," Bora ordered. Her team spread out. "We hold them here." The Krell noticed them. Massive creatures in heavy armor. They turned and opened fire. Taesung dove behind cover. His heart hammered. This wasn't like the last fight. This was a real battle. Bora fought like a demon. Her weapon never stopped firing. Her soldiers matched her ferocity. But there were so many Krell. For every one they dropped, 2 more appeared. Through the soul tether, Taesung felt Hana on the other side of the door. She was terrified but trying to stay calm. He could feel her sensing him too, drawing strength from knowing he was close. A Krell broke through their line. It charged straight at Bora while she reloaded. Taesung didn't hesitate. He fired, hitting the creature's weak point at the neck joint. It went down hard. Bora glanced at him, surprised. "Good shot." "Military training," he shouted back. The battle raged. Taesung's weapon ran dry. He grabbed one from a fallen soldier and kept firing. His muscles screamed. His hands shook from exhaustion. But he kept fighting. Then something changed. As Taesung fought near the door, focused on protecting Hana, the soul tether flared to life. Suddenly, his reflexes were faster. He could sense danger before it happened. When a Krell aimed at him, he felt it and moved before the shot fired. "What the—" He dodged another shot he shouldn't have been able to avoid. Bora noticed too. "The soul tether. It's enhancing you." Taesung didn't understand it, but he used it. Every time danger came close, the bond warned him. He moved like water, flowing around attacks. He wasn't a better fighter. He was just barely faster than he should be. But it wasn't enough. More Krell kept coming. Bora's team was down to half strength. The command deck door was starting to buckle from the assault. "We can't hold them," one soldier shouted. Taesung's mind raced. Think. There had to be a way. He looked at the corridor, at the Krell ships probably docked nearby, at the cargo transporters he'd seen earlier. An idea formed, crazy, probably impossible. But maybe, Bora, the cargo transporters. Can they move big objects? Yes, but what? Can they lock onto the Krell ships? She understood immediately. Her eyes widened. You want to transport their ships into each other? Or into asteroids? Or into empty space? Anything to disrupt them. The targeting system isn't designed for that. We'd need someone who understands human improvisation and Veltheran technology. Take me to the transporter room. Now Bora made a decision. She grabbed 3 soldiers. Hold this position. We're going to end this. She ran and Taesung followed. They fought through corridors. The transporter room was 2 decks down. They took stairs because the elevators were damaged. Taesung's lungs burned. His legs felt like jelly. But Hana's fear through the bond pushed him forward. The transporter room was abandoned. Everyone was fighting. Bora sealed the door and ran to the controls. I can't operate this for what you're suggesting. Show me the basics. I'll figure it out. She pulled up displays. Taesung's mind worked frantically. The Veltheran interface was complex but logical. He'd worked with transporters before, just not like this. He started inputting commands, scanning for Krell ships, found them. 20 vessels attached to our hull. His fingers flew across the controls. Locking, targeting, ignore safety protocols. Boost power from weapon systems, that could overload everything. Bora warned, better than dying. The transporter hummed to life. Taesung selected the first Krell ship in a target location, an asteroid chunk floating nearby. He activated the sequence. The ship vanished from their hull and appeared inside the asteroid. The explosion was visible on the external cameras. It worked. Bora breathed. Taesung didn't stop. He selected another Krell ship and transported it into the path of a 3rd ship. They collided spectacularly. Then another, and another. His hands moved faster as he got the hang of it. The Krell are panicking, Bora reported, watching tactical displays. They're retreating. One by one, Taesung removed the Krell ships. Some he transported into space where they drifted helplessly, others he crashed together. It was chaos and it was working. The last Krell ship detached and tried to flee. Taesung transported it right into the middle of their retreating fleet. The confusion was total. The Krell syndicate broke and ran. Taesung slumped over the controls, exhausted. Did we win? Yes. Bora looked at him with something like awe. You just single-handedly routed an entire Krell fleet with a cargo transporter. The door opened. Veltheran soldiers poured in, weapons ready. Then Princess Hana pushed through them. She ran to Taesung, her composure cracking. You're alive. I felt you in danger and I couldn't. I'm okay. He smiled weakly. You're safe. That's what matters. She looked at him for a long moment. Then, to everyone's shock, she hugged him. It was brief but genuine. When she pulled back, her eyes were wet. Thank you again. Bora cleared her throat. We should get both of you to safety. The ship is damaged but stable. As they walked back, Bora fell in step beside Taesung. What you did with the transporters, that was brilliant. Insane but brilliant. Desperate times. Still, you've earned respect today, human. Not just from me, from everyone who saw what you did. She paused. The Queen won't care, but I want you to know you've proven yourself a warrior. Through the soul tether, Taesung felt Hana's gratitude and relief, but under it he sensed her growing dread. They were still heading to Velthara Prime, still heading to face her mother. The ship limped into orbit around a beautiful blue and white planet 2 days later. Velthara Prime. Crystal cities gleamed on the surface. Orbital platforms floated like jewels. It was stunning. It was also where Queen Su-jin waited. Taesung stood at the viewport and tried to prepare himself. Whatever came next, he'd face it. He'd saved Hana twice. Maybe that would count for something. But when the guards came for him in chains, he knew it wouldn't be that simple. The throne room was enormous. Crystal pillars rose to a ceiling so high it disappeared in soft light. Every surface gleamed. Guards in ceremonial armor lined the walls, their weapons humming with barely contained energy. Taesung walked between them in chains, trying not to show his fear. At the far end, on a throne of twisted silver and blue crystal, sat Queen Su-jin. She looked like an older version of Hana, but where the princess had warmth in her eyes, the queen had only ice. Her gaze could have frozen stars. Tae-sung was forced to his knees before her. The chains were heavy. His wrists hurt. Through the soul tether he felt Hana somewhere nearby, her emotions a storm of worry and anger. So this is the human. Queen Sujin's voice was cold and precise. The one who dared create a soul tether with my daughter. Your Majesty, I didn't. Silence. The word cracked like a whip. You will speak when I permit it. A man in expensive robes stepped forward from beside the throne. He was older with calculating eyes. Your Majesty, I am Lord Jae-won, your humble advisor. This situation is unprecedented. A soul tether between species is an abomination. For the royal bloodline, it's a disaster. I'm aware, Jae-won. The Queen's eyes never left Tae-sung. The question is what to do about it. Execution would send a clear message, Jae-won suggested smoothly. That humans cannot be trusted. That our bloodlines must remain pure. Tae-sung's blood ran cold. Through the soul tether, he felt Hana's spike of horror. The throne room door slammed open. Princess Hana strode in, Bora right behind her. Mother, you can't! Hana, this doesn't concern you. He's bonded to me. Of course it concerns me. Hana moved to stand beside Tae-sung, defiant. He saved my life twice. He almost died giving his blood to save me. You can't execute him for that. I can do whatever is necessary for our empire. But something in the Queen's eyes softened slightly when she looked at her daughter. A soul tether with a human brings shame to our family. No. Hana's voice was firm. It brings honor. The soul tether is sacred, Mother. You taught me that. It can only form between beings who share a fundamental bond. Tae-sung risked everything for a stranger. That's not shameful. That's noble. Lord Jae-won sneered. The princess is young and foolish. She doesn't understand politics, Bora stepped forward. If I may speak, Your Majesty? Queen Sujin nodded. I witnessed this human's actions. He fought beside us against the Krell. He saved dozens of lives, including Princess Hana's. His tactical thinking routed an entire enemy fleet. Bora's voice rang out clearly. He's proven himself a warrior and a protector. To kill him would be unjust. Murmurs spread through the court. Lord Jae-won looked annoyed. Queen Sujin raised her hand for silence. You speak well of him, Commander. But that doesn't solve our problem. A soul tether exists. It cannot be broken. What would you have me do? Tae-sung found his voice. Your Majesty, may I speak? The Queen considered him coldly. Speak. I don't want to bring shame to your family. I didn't ask for this bond. But it exists now, he met her eyes. Let me prove I'm worthy of it. Give me a chance to serve your daughter and your empire. Serve? Jae-won laughed. A human serve Velthara. Ridiculous, is it? Tae-sung kept his gaze on the Queen. Someone tried to kill Princess Hana. The Krell attacked her specifically twice. That's not random. Someone is feeding them information. Someone in your empire wants her dead. The throne room went silent. Queen Sujin leaned forward. You suggest there's a traitor? The attacks were too precise. Too well-timed. Someone knew where she'd be. Tae-sung's military mind had been working on this since the second attack. Let me help find them. I'm an outsider. I can go places and ask questions that would raise suspicion from a Veltharan. Queen Sujin was quiet for a long moment. Tae-sung could see her thinking, calculating. Finally, she spoke. You make interesting points, human. Perhaps there is a use for you after all. She stood and everyone bowed except Tae-sung, who was still chained. I propose a test. You will serve as my daughter's guardian and help investigate this conspiracy. You will have limited access to the palace and our resources, but you will be watched constantly. Mother, Hana started, this is my decision. The Queen's voice was absolute. If he succeeds in finding the traitor and keeping you safe, the soul tether will be honored. He will be recognized as a guardian of the realm, the first human to hold such a title. And if I fail? Tae-sung asked. Queen Sujin's smile was sharp as a blade. Then you will be executed as a traitor yourself. You have until the Unity Festival, 1 month from now, to prove your worth. Tae-sung felt the weight of it. 1 month to find a traitor in an alien court where everyone suspected him. 1 month to prove he deserved to live. I accept. Of course you do. You have no choice, the Queen gestured. Remove his chains. Give him quarters in the servants' wing. Commander Bora, you will supervise him. As the chains were removed, Tae-sung felt Hana's relief through the bond, but it was mixed with fear. 1 month wasn't much time. Lord Jae-won approached as the court dispersed. You've bought yourself time, human. Nothing more. You'll fail, and when you do, I'll be there to watch your execution. We'll see. Tae-sung rubbed his wrists. That night, Tae-sung was given a small room in the palace. It was plain but comfortable, far nicer than his quarters on the Dawn's Promise. Bora posted guards outside his door. Don't try to leave without permission, and don't cause trouble. Understood. She paused at the door. For what it's worth, I think the Queen made the right choice. You can help us find the traitor. You believe me? That there is one? I've thought it myself. The attacks were too coordinated. She looked troubled. But finding proof in the royal court is dangerous. Powerful people won't want their secrets exposed. After she left, Hana came to visit. The guards let her pass without question. She sat on the edge of his bed looking exhausted. I'm sorry. I tried to defend you better, but Mother is stubborn. You saved my life. That's enough, did I? You're still in danger. Through the soul tether, he felt her guilt. This is my fault. If I had been more careful, don't. Tae-sung took her hand without thinking. The touch sent a warm pulse through the bond. You didn't ask to be attacked. Someone wants you dead. We need to find out who and why. She looked at their joined hands. Neither pulled away. Where do we start? With information. Who benefits from your death? Who knew your travel plans? Who has the resources to hire the Krell? That could be dozens of nobles. The court is full of political games. Then we start narrowing it down. Tae-sung's mind was already working. Tomorrow I need access to your schedule from before the first attack. Communication logs. Financial records if possible. I can get some of that. But Tae-sung, if we're caught investigating the wrong person, I know. It's risky. He squeezed her hand gently. But it's our only chance. She stood to leave but hesitated. Thank you for not giving up. I could say the same to you. After she left, Tae-sung lay in the dark and thought about the Queen's cold eyes, about Lord Jae-won's contempt, about the month he had to solve an impossible mystery. Through the soul tether, he felt Hana in her own room, unable to sleep. Her worry was a constant presence. He tried to send calm feelings back through the bond. He didn't know if it worked. The next morning, Bora brought him to a secure office. This is where you'll work. Hana is bringing what record she can access. I'll help where I can, but officially I'm just supervising you. Unofficially, I want to catch whoever tried to kill the princess. Bora's eyes were hard. They killed good soldiers. My friends. So yes, I'll help. Hana arrived with data files. They spent hours going through boring records, travel schedules, communication logs. Nothing obvious jumped out. Then Tae-sung found something. A single encrypted message sent from the palace to an unknown recipient, timed perfectly before Hana's first trip. Look at this. Bora examined it. That encryption? That's high level, military or senior court officials only. Can we trace it? Maybe, but it will take time. A knock on the door. A palace servant entered, looking nervous. Message for the human. From Lord Jae-won. He handed over a data pad. Tae-sung read it. His blood chilled. It was a simple message. Stop your investigation or face consequences. You're out of your depth, human, he showed it to the others. Hana's face went pale. He knows what we're doing. Or he's bluffing, Bora said. Trying to scare us off. Either way, Tae-sung said grimly, we're on the right track. Someone is worried. That night, Tae-sung couldn't sleep. He sensed danger through the soul tether, a creeping wrongness. Hana was afraid. He got up, grabbed the weapon Bora had given him, and ran. The bond led him to Hana's chambers. The guards outside were unconscious. The door was open. Inside, a figure in black moved toward Hana's bed. A knife gleamed in the darkness. Tae-sung didn't hesitate. He fired. The energy blast caught the assassin in the shoulder. They stumbled but didn't fall. Instead, they vanished. Literally disappeared into thin air. Tae-sung's eyes widened. Stealth technology! Hana, get down! He dove forward, putting himself between the princess and where the assassin had been. Hana rolled off the bed, hitting the floor hard. I can't see them. Tae-sung closed his eyes. The soul tether pulsed in his mind. He could feel Hana's location clearly, but there was something else. A disturbance. A cold spot in his awareness that felt wrong. The assassin, there. He fired blindly at empty air. The shot hit something solid. The assassin flickered into view for a second, blood dripping from their arm, then vanished again. The room exploded into motion. The invisible assassin moved fast. Taesung heard the whisper of fabric, the soft footfall. He fired again, missed. The soul tether screamed warning. He threw himself sideways as a blade slashed through the space where his head had been. Guards. Hana shouted, "Help!" But the guards were still unconscious outside. They were alone. Taesung couldn't win a fight against an invisible enemy. He needed to change the game. His eyes darted around the room. There. Hana's desk had a water pitcher. "Hana, throw the water." "Everywhere." She understood instantly. She grabbed the pitcher and threw it in a wide arc. Water splashed across the room. For a moment it outlined a humanoid shape. Taesung fired. The shot hit true. The assassin flickered into full view, clutching their side. They were Velthurin, dressed in black tactical gear. Before Taesung could fire again, they threw something at the window. An explosive. The crystal shattered outward. The assassin dove through the window and was gone. Taesung ran to the broken window. They were 3 floors up. The assassin was falling, but they fired a grapple line and swung to another building. Within seconds, they disappeared into the night. "Let them go." Hana grabbed his arm. "You're hurt." Taesung looked down. His side was bleeding. The assassin had cut him when he dodged. He hadn't even felt it. "I'm okay, you?" "Fine, scared but fine." Guards finally burst in, weapons ready. Bora was with them, looking furious. "What happened?" "Assassin. Velthurin, advanced stealth tech." Taesung pressed his hand to his bleeding side. They escaped. Bora examined the unconscious guards. "Drugged. Professional work." She looked at the broken window. "This was a serious attempt. Someone really wants the princess dead." The palace erupted into chaos. Queen Sujin arrived within minutes, her face a mask of cold fury. She looked at Hana, making sure she was unharmed, then turned to Taesung. "You sense the danger through the bond?" "Yes, Your Majesty. I felt something was wrong and came running." For the first time, the queen's expression softened slightly. "You saved her, again." She touched Hana's face gently. "Are you truly unharmed?" "Yes, mother. Taesung protected me." Queen Sujin looked at Taesung's bleeding side. "Get him medical attention. Then I want a full report." She swept out, already barking orders to increase security. Later, after a doctor patched his wound, Taesung sat with Bora and Hana in the secure office. Bora had retrieved the assassin's equipment. "This stealth suit is military grade. Very expensive. Only a few people could access this technology. Lord Jaewon?" Taesung suggested, possibly. "But we need proof." Bora pulled up files on her display. "I've been digging into the financial records you asked about. There are irregular payments from several court accounts to shell companies." "Millions of credits. Bribes?" Hana asked. "Or payments to the Krell?" Bora highlighted several transactions. These payments started 6 months ago, right around when the first assassination attempt was planned. Taesung studied the data. "Can we trace who authorized the payments?" "That's the problem. They're routed through so many accounts it's impossible to track the origin." Bora looked frustrated. "Whoever set this up knew what they were doing." Hana leaned back in her chair. "So we're stuck?" "Maybe not." Taesung had an idea. "Bora, you said I could go places that would raise suspicion for a Veltharin. What if I went directly to the source?" "What source?" "The Krell. There's a Krell trading post in the lower city, right? Where less legal business happens." Bora's eyes widened. "You want to infiltrate the Krell?" "That's suicide, is it?" "I'm human. The Krell work with humans sometimes. I could pose as a mercenary looking for work. See if I can find out who hired them to kill Hana." "Absolutely not," Hana said immediately. "It's too dangerous. It's our best chance." Taesung met her eyes. "We have 3 weeks left. We need real evidence," they argued for an hour. Finally, Bora agreed it could work. "But you'll need a cover story, credentials, and I'm coming with you. Disguised as your partner." "Mother will never allow this," Hana protested. "Then we don't tell her." Bora was already planning. "We go tonight. Get in, get information, get out." Preparations took hours. Bora created a false identity for Taesung, a human mercenary named Kang, recently arrived from a colony world. She would pose as a Velthurin outcast willing to work with humans for money. It was risky, but it could work. As night fell, they changed into civilian clothes and slipped out of the palace through a service entrance. Hana wanted to come, but they refused. She stayed behind, connected to Taesung through the soul tether, ready to call for help if needed. The lower city was different from the gleaming palace district. Here, buildings were older, dirtier. Neon signs advertised questionable services. Aliens of a dozen species filled the streets. The Krell trading post was in the worst section, a rundown building that smelled like chemicals and violence. "Remember," Bo-Ra whispered as they approached. "You're Kang, ruthless, interested only in money. Don't show weakness," they entered. The trading post was crowded with criminals and lowlifes. Krell captains sat at tables negotiating deals. Weapons were displayed openly. This was a place where laws didn't reach. Tae-sung approached the bar. The Krell bartender looked at him with 4 eyes. "What do you want, human? Heard you have work for someone with my skills?" Tae-sung kept his voice hard. "Work? What skills?" "Wet work, quiet work, the kind that pays well and doesn't ask questions." The bartender studied him. "Wait here." 20 minutes later, a Krell captain approached. He was huge, scarred, dangerous. "I'm Captain Rook. Heard you're looking for employment." "If the price is right." Rook sat down, his bulk making the chair groan. "What's your name?" "Kang. Well, Kang, I might have work, but first prove you're not palace security sniffing around." He pulled out a weapon. "Kill the Veltherin with you. Then we talk business." Tae-sung's blood ran cold. Bo-Ra tensed beside him. "This was going wrong fast. She's my partner," Tae-sung said carefully. "We work together. Not anymore. Kill her or leave. Those are your options." Every eye in the place was on them. Tae-sung's mind raced. They needed information, but not at this cost. He started to stand, ready to fight their way out if necessary. Then Bo-Ra laughed. "You think this human could kill me?" She pulled out her own weapon and pointed it at Tae-sung. "I'm in charge here, Krell. He works for me. Now, do we have business or not?" Rook looked surprised. Then he laughed too. "I like you, Veltherin. Sit, let's talk." The next hour was tense. Rook discussed various jobs. Tae-sung let Bo-Ra do most of the talking, playing the role of hired muscle. Finally, Bo-Ra steered the conversation where they needed it. "We heard you did a job recently. Royal target. That true?" Rook's expression darkened. "Who told you that?" "Word gets around. That kind of work pays well. We're interested in similar contracts. That job was a disaster. Lost good crews. The target survived twice." Rook drank deeply. "Not taking royal contracts anymore. Too risky. Who hired you?" Bo-Ra pressed. "Must have paid well to go after royalty." Rook leaned back. "Never met them face to face. All through encrypted channels. But the payment came from high up. Someone with serious resources and connections." "Got a name?" Tae-sung asked. "Careful, human." Rook's eyes narrowed. "You ask a lot of questions." Bo-Ra intervened. "We like to know who we might work with." "Professional curiosity." Rook considered this. "The contact used the code name Silver Dawn. That's all I know. Paid half up front. Promised the rest after the job. Never got that second payment since we failed." He looked bitter. "Lost ships and crew for nothing. Silver Dawn." Tae-sung committed it to memory. It wasn't much, but it was something. They stayed a bit longer to avoid suspicion, then left. Outside, Bo-Ra let out a breath. "That was too close, but we got something. Silver Dawn. That's our lead." Back at the palace, they told Hana everything. She immediately searched the codename in the palace database. Silver Dawn. Wait, that's an old reference. The Silver Dawn was Queen Su-jin's personal ship before she became queen. "Your mother's ship?" Tae-sung frowned. "That doesn't make sense. Unless someone is trying to frame her," Bo-Ra said slowly. "Or unless someone close to her is using her old codes," Hana finished. "Someone with access to royal systems. Someone who would know those codes." They looked at each other. The list of people with that kind of access was short. Very short, and Lord Jae-won was at the top of it. The evidence against Lord Jae-won was building, but it was still circumstantial. They had encrypted messages, financial irregularities, and the Silver Dawn codename. Nothing concrete. Nothing that would convince Queen Su-jin to act against her trusted advisor. Tae-sung spent 2 days trying to find the final piece of proof. He barely slept. Through the soul tether, he felt Hana's growing anxiety. Time was running out. The Unity Festival was in 2 weeks. Then everything fell apart. Tae-sung was in the secure office reviewing files when palace guards burst in. Not regular guards. Elite royal security. Their weapons were drawn and pointed at him. "Tae-sung, you're under arrest," the lead guard announced. "By order of Queen Su-jin for treason and conspiracy against the royal family." "What?" "That's insane!" Bora stood, hand on her weapon. Commander, stand down. You're also ordered to appear before the Queen immediately. Through the soul tether, Tai-Sung felt Hana's shock and horror. She was somewhere in the palace, probably just learning about this. Her emotions were wild, panicked. They dragged Tai-Sung to a holding cell. It was small, cold, and underground. The heavy door sealed with a hiss. He was alone. An hour later, a screen on the wall activated. Queen Sujin appeared, her face cold as winter. I trusted you, human. I gave you a chance to prove yourself, and you betrayed me. Your Majesty, I didn't— Silence. Her voice cut like a blade. Lord Jae-won brought me evidence. Communications between you and the Krell Syndicate. Financial transfers to your accounts. You've been working with them from the beginning. The assassination attempts, the investigations, all of it was a setup to infiltrate the palace. That's a lie. Jae-won is the traitor. He's framing me. Lord Jae-won is a loyal servant of the Empire. You're a human who wormed his way into my daughter's life using some trick of biology. I should have executed you immediately. The Queen's eyes were hard. Tomorrow you will be formally charged. The day after, you will be executed. I won't make the mistake of trusting a human again. The screen went dark. Tai-Sung sank to the floor. Jae-won had outmaneuvered them. Of course he had. The man had decades of experience in palace politics. Tai-Sung was just a former soldier playing detective. Through the soul tether, he felt Hana trying to reach him. Her emotions were desperate, determined. He tried to send calm back to her, but he didn't feel calm. He felt defeated. Hours passed. Tai-Sung tried to think of a way out. The cell was solid. No windows. One door with guards outside. Even if he escaped, where would he go? The whole palace thought he was a traitor. Then the door opened. Bora slipped inside, moving fast. We don't have much time. Bora, how did you— I convinced the guards I needed to interrogate you. They gave me 5 minutes. She pulled out a small device and pressed it to the wall. This will block surveillance for a few moments. Listen, Princess Hana believes you. So do I. We know Jae-won is lying. But the evidence is fabricated. We're sure of it. But the Queen won't listen. She wants to believe the worst about humans. Jae-won knew that and exploited it. Bora's face was grim. Hana has a plan. Tonight, during the guard change, there will be a brief window. We're getting you out. Escape? That'll just make me look guilty. You're already condemned. At least alive, you can prove your innocence. She pressed something into his hand. A small communicator. When the time comes, this will guide you. Hana and I will be waiting. Why are you helping me? You're risking everything. Bora met his eyes. Because you're innocent. Because you saved the princess. Because you're the most honorable person I've met, human or Velthuran. She moved to the door. Be ready, she left. Tai-Sung clutched the communicator. Part of him wanted to refuse, to face the execution with dignity. But a larger part wanted to live. Wanted to prove Jae-won was the real traitor. Wanted to protect Hana. Through the soul tether, he felt Hana's determination. She wasn't giving up on him. He couldn't give up either. Hours later, deep in the night cycle, the communicator vibrated. A map appeared on its small screen, showing a route out of the cell block. Tai-Sung stood ready. The cell door slid open. No guards outside. Bora's doing. Tai-Sung ran, following the map. He moved through empty corridors, his heart hammering. Any second, alarms would sound. He reached a service tunnel. Hana was there, dressed in dark clothes, a pack over her shoulder. This way, quickly. Hana, you shouldn't be here. If they catch you helping me, they won't catch us. Move. They ran through the tunnel. It led to the old sections of the palace, areas rarely used. Bora joined them at a junction. Guards will notice the empty cell in about 10 minutes. We need to be gone by then. Where are we going? Tai-Sung asked. Somewhere safe, where we can plan our next move. They emerged in the palace gardens, dark and quiet. A small transport vehicle waited. They climbed in and Bora drove. Fast. The palace alarm started as they cleared the main gates. Lights blazed. Guards mobilized. But they were already in the lower city, disappearing into the maze of streets. Bora took them to an abandoned building in the industrial district. Inside, she'd prepared a safe room. Food supplies, computer equipment. We can hide here for a while. But Tai-Sung, you're now a fugitive. So are we for helping you. Hana sat down heavily. Mother will be furious. Your mother will have us all executed if we're caught, Bora said bluntly. We need a plan, fast. Tai-Sung's mind was racing. Jae-won framed me perfectly. He must have been planning this for a while. We need to prove he's the traitor, but all our evidence is circumstantial. Then we get better evidence, Hana said. We break into his office. His private files. There has to be something that proves he's working with the Krell. That's suicide, Bora objected. His office is in the heart of the palace. Security will be tripled after the escape. It's also our only option. Taesung looked at them. Unless you have a better idea? Silence. They didn't. Okay, Bora said finally. We'll need a plan. A good one. Because we only get one chance at this. They spent hours planning. Bora knew the palace security systems. Hana knew Jaewon's schedule. Taesung contributed tactical thinking from his military days. Slowly a plan formed. Risky, probably insane, but possible. There's one more thing, Hana said quietly. We should tell Mother the truth. About everything. She deserves to know. She wants me dead, Taesung pointed out. She wants the truth more. I know her. If we can show her proof, real proof, she'll listen. Hana's eyes were determined. We use the trial of truth. Bora looked shocked. The ritual? Hana, that's dangerous. If there's any deception in your heart, any doubt, the soul tether could break. The pain could kill you both. There's no deception. Taesung is innocent. The trial will prove it. Taesung touched her hand. Through the soul tether, he felt her absolute certainty. She believed in him completely. Are you sure? Yes, but first we get the evidence from Jaewon's office. Then we face Mother together. The next night, they put their plan into action. Bora had stolen guard uniforms. She and Taesung would enter the palace disguised as security, while Hana created a distraction. Hana walked up to the main palace gate. Guards surrounded her immediately. Princess, you're safe. I need to see my mother immediately. Your Highness will escort you. No, I know you have orders to hold me if I return. I'm turning myself in. But I will only speak to Queen Sujin. In the throne room. In 1 hour. Make it happen. While the palace scrambled to arrange the meeting, Taesung and Bora slipped in through a service entrance. The stolen uniforms worked. Guards nodded at them as they passed. They made their way to Jaewon's office in the administrative wing. 2 guards outside, Bora whispered. We need them gone. Taesung had an idea. He triggered a fire alarm in a nearby corridor. The guards ran to investigate. Bora and Taesung slipped into Jaewon's office. It was elegant and expensive. Taesung went straight to the computer terminal. Can you bypass his security? Bora was already working. Give me 2 minutes, 1 minute passed. The computer unlocked. Taesung searched frantically. Financial records, communications, personal files. There had to be something. Taesung, look at this. Bora pulled up an encrypted folder. Inside were detailed plans. Assassination attempts. Payment schedules to the Krell, and more. Much more. He wasn't just trying to kill Hana. Taesung breathed. This is a coup. He's planning to overthrow the queen. During the Unity Festival, Bora read, when all the noble houses gather. He has military support. General Daeun is involved. They're going to stage a takeover and blame it on Krell sympathizers. Download everything now. Bora copied the files to a secure drive. Got it, let's go, they ran. Alarms blared. Jaewon must have noticed the intrusion. Guards poured into the corridors. Taesung and Bora fought their way out. Energy blasts scorched the walls. They were outnumbered. This way. Bora led them to an emergency transport platform. They jumped on and activated it, shooting upward through the palace levels. They emerged near the throne room. More guards, but these guards saw Bora's rank insignia and hesitated. Commander? Traitors in the palace. Protect the queen. Bora bluffed. It worked. The guards ran past them. Taesung and Bora burst into the throne room. Queen Sujin sat on her throne. Hana stood before her. Lord Jaewon was there too, looking smug. He saw Taesung and his face went pale. Guards, the fugitive! Stop! Hana's voice rang out. Mother, I invoke the trial of truth. The throne room went silent. The trial of truth was ancient law. Once invoked, the throne room transformed for the trial of truth. Ancient symbols were projected onto the floor, glowing with soft blue light. Court members gathered, witnesses to the sacred ritual. Taesung and Hana stood in the center of the circle, facing each other. A priestess in ceremonial robes approached. The trial of truth is absolute. If deception exists in the soul tether, it will be revealed. If truth exists, all will see your bond laid bare. Are you certain? Yes, Hana said firmly. Taesung nodded. Through the soul tether, he felt Hana's nervousness, but also her unwavering faith in him. It gave him strength. The priestess began chanting in Old Veltharan. The symbols on the floor pulsed brighter. Taesung felt the soul tether activate stronger than ever before. It was like a channel opening between their minds. Place your hands together, the priestess instructed. Taesung and Hana joined hands. The moment they touched, the world exploded into sensation. Taesung saw Hana's memories, her childhood in the palace, her loneliness despite being surrounded by people, her fear when the Krell attacked, her gratitude when he saved her, and she saw his memories, his family lost in the colony raid, the horrors of war, his desperate need to save just one person, his sacrifice for a stranger, his growing care for her. The soul tether blazed with light visible to everyone in the throne room. Their shared experiences flooded the space. Every moment of truth, every genuine emotion. The bond was real, pure, untainted by deception. Lord Jaewon's face twisted with rage. This proves nothing. False memories can be... Silence. Queen Sujin's voice cut through everything. She stood, staring at the display of the soul tether. For the first time, Taesung saw something other than ice in her eyes. Understanding. Maybe even regret. The trial reached its conclusion. The light faded. Taesung and Hana stood gasping, still holding hands. The priestess spoke. The soul tether is true. No deception exists between these two. The bond is sacred and honest. Murmurs spread through the court. Queen Sujin descended from her throne, approaching them slowly. She studied Taesung's face. I was wrong about you. I let prejudice cloud my judgment. You truly did sacrifice yourself to save my daughter. Yes, Your Majesty. Then why are you here as a fugitive? Explain. Bora stepped forward, holding up the data drive. Your Majesty, we have evidence. Lord Jaewon is the traitor. He hired the Krell. He's planning a coup during the Unity Festival. Jaewon laughed. Fabrications! The human's last desperate attempt. Show me, the Queen commanded. Bora uploaded the files to the throne room display. Everyone watched as the evidence unfolded. Jaewon's communications with the Krell, payment schedules, plans for the coup, and worse, his conspiracy with General Daeun to overthrow the Queen and install a puppet ruler. The court erupted in shock. Jaewon's face went from smug to panicked. Those files are fake. The human planted them. We took them from your private office, Taesung said, with timestamps and your personal encryption. It's all real. Queen Sujin's face hardened into fury. Jaewon, you've served me for 20 years, and all that time you've been planning betrayal? You've made Velthara weak, Jaewon shouted, his composure breaking. Your isolation policies, your refusal to expand, your fear of humans. I did this for the Empire. We need new leadership. So you tried to murder my daughter? She would have been a liability. Too soft, like you've become. Jaewon pulled out a weapon. Guards moved to stop him, but he was faster. If I can't have the Empire, no one will. He aimed at Queen Sujin. Time seemed to slow. Taesung saw it happening. His body moved on instinct, years of military training taking over. He threw himself in front of the Queen. The energy blast hit him in the chest. Pain exploded through his body. He fell gasping. Through the soul tether, he felt Hana's scream of anguish. Guards tackled Jaewon. Bora rushed to Taesung's side.
Stay with us.
Medical team now. Queen Sujin knelt beside him, her hand on his shoulder. Why? Why would you protect me? Taesung smiled weakly. Because it was right. And because Hana loves you. I could feel it. Through the bond. The Queen's eyes were wet. For the first time, the ice melted completely. You foolish, brave human. Doctors arrived, working frantically. The wound was bad, but not fatal. The blast had been partially deflected by Taesung's ribs. They stabilized him and rushed him to medical bay. Hours later, Taesung woke in a hospital bed. Again. He was starting to hate these places. Hana sat beside him, holding his hand. Her eyes were red from crying. You're awake, she whispered. Seems like it. His chest hurt terribly. What happened? Jaewon is in custody. So is General Daeun. Mother is purging the conspiracy from the court. Hana squeezed his hand. You saved her. You took a weapon blast meant for the Queen. Is she okay? She's fine. Thanks to you. Hana's voice broke. Why do you keep almost dying for my family? Because it matters. Tae-sung managed a weak smile. Because protecting people is what I do. It's who I am. You're impossible. She leaned down and kissed his forehead. And I'm grateful. The door opened. Queen Sujin entered alone. She moved to the other side of the bed, looking down at Tae-sung. The doctors say you'll recover fully. The wound missed vital organs by millimeters. You're lucky. I don't feel lucky, Your Majesty. A ghost of a smile crossed her face. No, I imagine not. She was quiet for a moment. I owe you an apology. I judged you based on your species rather than your character. I nearly had you executed for crimes you didn't commit. I was wrong. You were protecting your empire. I understand. Understanding doesn't excuse it. The queen sat in a chair, suddenly looking tired. You've saved my daughter twice. You've saved me. You've exposed traitors in my own court. And you did it all while being treated with suspicion and hostility. She met his eyes. You've proven yourself beyond any doubt. You're more honorable than many Veltharans I've known. Thank you, Your Majesty. Queen Sujin stood and raised her voice formally. Tae-sung of Earth, by my authority as Queen of the Veltharan Empire, I hereby recognize the soul tether between you and Princess Hana as sacred and binding. Furthermore, I name you Guardian of the Realm, the first human to ever hold this title. You will stand beside my daughter as her protector, advisor, and equal partner. Tae-sung tried to sit up, but Hana gently pushed him back down. Your Majesty, I'm honored. The honor is ours. The queen looked at Hana. Take care of him. He's proven he's worth keeping. She left, but there was warmth in her departure that hadn't been there before. Over the next week, Tae-sung recovered. The palace was in turmoil as the conspiracy was rooted out. Lord Jae-won and General Da-yoon faced trial. Evidence of their coup attempt was overwhelming. They'd planned to use the Unity Festival as cover, assassinating key nobles loyal to the queen and installing their own puppet government. Dozens of conspirators were arrested. The Krell Syndicate, learning their contacts were compromised, retreated from Veltharan space entirely. The threat was over. Tae-sung attended the trials from a wheelchair, his chest still healing. He watched as Jae-won was sentenced to life imprisonment. The former advisor showed no remorse, ranting about how Velthara needed strength and expansion. The court watched in cold silence. After the sentencing, Bo-ra approached Tae-sung. It's done. The conspiracy is finished. Thanks to you. You risked everything to help me. You earned that help, she smiled. Besides, I couldn't let an innocent person be executed, even a human. It was said with warmth now, not contempt. What happens now? Tae-sung asked. Now? The Unity Festival will go on as planned, but this time it will truly be about unity. Bo-ra looked thoughtful. The queen is using this as an opportunity. She's inviting human diplomats, opening talks about an alliance. You've changed things, Tae-sung. Changed how we see your people. I just did what felt right. That's why it matters. The Unity Festival arrived. The palace was transformed into a celebration. Noble houses from across the empire gathered, and for the first time, human ambassadors attended, a sign of the new era beginning. Tae-sung stood on a balcony, watching the festivities below. His chest still ached, but he could move freely now. He wore formal clothing, the emblem of a guardian of the realm on his chest. Princess Hana joined him, looking beautiful in a ceremonial gown. Overwhelming, isn't it? A bit. He gestured at the crowds below. 3 months ago, I was loading cargo on a merchant ship. Now I'm here. Do you regret it? If you could go back, would you still save me? Tae-sung didn't hesitate. Yes, every time. She smiled and took his hand. The soul tether pulsed gently between them. Comfortable now. Familiar. Mother wants to name you an official ambassador to humanity. She thinks you'd be good at building bridges between our peoples. What do you think? I think you'd be amazing at it. She looked up at him. And I think you'd have help. I'm supposed to take on more diplomatic duties. We could work together. I'd like that. They stood in comfortable silence, watching the celebration. Through the soul tether, Tae-sung felt Hana's contentment, her hope for the future. He sent back his own feelings of peace, of belonging. Queen Sujin appeared behind them. The ceremony is about to begin. Are you ready? Tae-sung turned. Ceremony? The formal recognition of the Human Veltharan Alliance. You'll stand with